to you tonight. So thankful again for all the many blessings of life, Lord, and for the many benefits and the favors you found upon our community, Lord. We just ask that tonight you be here with us, you lead us and guide us in all that we do and say, and we'll give you the honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, at this time, I'd like to ask the commissioners, if you would, please join me down front, and I'd like Mr. Wesley Robinson to join us as well. Wesley, you're retiring now with 21 years, and you said some months. How many of them?
Just about 3.
Just about 3 months. Wesley's been one of those employees that Lowndes County can always count on. He worked in the engineering department. Every time I see Wesley in passing, he's always got a smile on his face and is one of the most friendly employees that Lowndes County has. Wesley, you will be missed greatly. We appreciate the service that you have given to Lowndes County over the last 21 years and 3 months.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
I've been
And as you can see, the sketch that we've got of the historical Lowndes County Courthouse, you can see the love that Wesley has for all his fellow employees, everyone that has signed this. This will be in a framed glass copy for you to be able to keep forever in a favorite place. Okay? Absolutely. You'll give that thanks. Take care. Hold on one more minute, commissioners, please. All right, at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. David Falk, with South Georgia Medical Service EMS, if he would come down, his staff, y'all come on down with me, please. David. Good to see you. How you doing? How you doing? Appreciate what y'all do. David, could you come down this way, please? Today we have a proclamation here I'd like to present to you. This is for Emergency Medical Services Week. The proclamation reads, whereas emergency medical services are vital to the public safety, and South Georgia Medical Center EMS is no exception. And whereas the members of Emergency Medical Services team are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And whereas South Georgia Medical Center EMS responds to an average of 50 calls per day. And whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury. And whereas South Georgia Medical Center EMS received over 17,500 requests for services during calendar year 2016. And whereas South Georgia Medical Center resuscitated 116 patients during 2016. And whereas the members of EMS teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas South Georgia Medical Center is the EMS clinical site for Wiregrass Technical College. And whereas South Georgia Medical Center EMS was awarded Service of the Year in 2016. And whereas Lowndes County sincerely appreciates the dedication and sacrifice shown by the men and women of South Georgia Medical So proclaimed this 23rd day of May, 2017. Thank you very much. Thank you for all y'all do. Appreciate it. Also, I'd like to recognize the fact that David and his crew through the South Georgia Medical Center EMS, anytime that we have a fire in Lowndes County, they automatically dispatch as well, so that they are there to provide care for whomever may be involved in the fire. But the one big factor is also the firefighters, the volunteers, and the full-time firefighters that we have in Lowndes County there to provide them care in the event that they need it very quickly. So we are very, very appreciative of that. So thank y'all. All righty, Commissioners, inside your packet, you'll find your minutes from the work session of May the 8th and your regular session meetings of May the 9th. If there's no additions or deletions or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes.
We have a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 5A is an appointment. This is for the Valdosta Lowndes County Airport Authority. Mr. Pritchard.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, as we stated yesterday, the four-year term of Mr. Jeff Sykes has expired, and Mr. Sykes has indicated his willingness to be reappointed, and you have a letter of endorsement from the authority asking for your consideration in that reappointment.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Pritchard. Commissioners, at this time, I'll open the floor up for nominations for appointment to the Valdosta Lowndes County Airport Authority.
I move we appoint Jeff Sykes.
Okay, we have Mr. Jeff Sykes who's been nominated. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we'll close the nominations, and Mr. Jeff Sykes will be reappointed by acclamation. Agenda item 6A is the approval of the increase in convenience fee for online and telephone payments. Ms. Black?
Yes, sir. As we discussed yesterday, this refers to transactions that are made either on the website or by phone through credit cards. We do approximately 20,000 of those a year, and we're just requesting effective July 1st to change that fee from $2 per transaction to $2.50.
Any questions for Ms. Black? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the increase in convenience fees for online and telephone payments to $2.50 per transaction.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the increase in the convenience fee for online and telephone payments to $2.50 per transaction. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6B is the renewal of the contract for the HVAC preventative maintenance program. Ms. Black?
Yes, sir. In March of 2015, we awarded this contract to Siemens Industry Incorporated, and it was for 1 year with the option to renew for 4 additional one-year periods. This will be the 3rd year in that term, and we're just asking for that to be approved.
Any questions for Ms. Black? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we renew the HVAC maintenance contract with Siemens Industry.
Could we have a motion to renew the contract for HVAC preventative maintenance with Siemens Industries? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6C is a beer and wine license for Madison Discount Shop. This is at 2601 Madison Highway. Ms. Black?
Yes, sir. This is a request for a license for the sale of beer and wine for consumption off-premise and is due to a change of ownership.
Any questions for Ms. Black? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the beer and wine license.
Do we have a motion to approve the beer and wine license? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6D is the reimbursement for preliminary engineering for exit 22 and exit 29's utility relocation. Mr. Fletcher?
Yes, sir. Back in 2015, the Board of Commissioners approved Guessing Level for the preliminary engineering services for the exit 22 and 29 utility relocation projects. This covers just the water and sewer that is being relocated as a part of this project. And as a part of this, the county is eligible for $12,040.33 worth of reimbursable expenses from the DOT. So this will be to reimburse that amount and require your signature on the acceptance.
Any questions for Mr. Fletcher? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the reimbursement for the preliminary engineering for exit 22 and exit 29 utility relocation.
We have a motion to approve the reimbursement for exit 22 and exit 29 and authorize the chairman to sign the documents. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 6E is the Moody Air Force Base Water and Wastewater Treatment Systems Contract Modification. Mr. Talbot?
Yes, sir. Moody Air Force Base constructed a new children's splash pad adjacent to Pool 1. They requested a proposal from Lowndes County to add this operation and maintenance of the splash pad to the current contract. Staff recommends that this be approved and authorize the chairman to sign.
Any questions for Mr. Stalvey? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the contract modification and authorize the chairman to sign it.
Can we have a motion to approve the contract modification and authorize the chairman to sign? Do we have a second? We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the vote. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none, the motion carries. Agenda item 7, County Manager's Report. Mr. Pritchard.
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, as you are aware, we had a work session presentation yesterday of our budget. There was a couple of questions afterwards, and I would like to ask Stephanie to clarify a couple of items that came up.
Yes, sir. Just to clarify, the general fund is in balance, meaning that the revenues equal the expenditures. Some of the other funds show as balanced, some show a surplus, and some show a deficit. That does not mean that there's a shortfall for the county. By definition, balanced means that the revenues and fund balance equal or exceed the expenditures. And because of the nature of projects, primarily the SPLOST, some funds are collected but not expended in the same year. Those unexpended funds become part of the fund balance. Expenditures are budgeted in anticipation of completing those projects using the fund balance. The budget that you see presents the revenues and expenditures that are anticipated for that single year.
Any questions? Clear as mud.
Clear as mud.
Thank you, Stephanie. Mr. Pritchard, anything else?
That's all.
Thank you very much. Okay, our citizens wishing to be heard. Our first citizen is Mr. Norman Bennett. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Norman Bennett, 7421 Hallwell Road, Harrow, Georgia. Okay. I'd like to talk to you about Hallwell Road. It's been talked about a lot, quite a bit. And basically, there's two things that draw me to come to talk to you gentlemen tonight. We had a situation, my wife, about a week and a half ago, Friday afternoon, she was coming home, school bus was coming up the hill. They almost had a head-on. Mr. Slaughter, Chairman Slaughter's been out there seeing the road. Mr. Griner said he's been familiar with it. I talked to Scotty, we're going to take a look at it and all like that. But it number one, we develop priority paving lists and things like that, and I understand and I commend you guys for the job you do. It's not easy. It's very seldom I come before the commission. I left 20 years ago. 40 years ago, I started my first job just like you did. And I've enjoyed it. We've done a lot for the county and things like that, but then there comes a time that you guys have got the bull by the horn, you guys doing the job and all like that, but there's times that we feel like we need to talk about things. But Hallwell Road is about 0.6 of a mile long. It was on the road, on the paving list, I guess, back in 2003, or maybe a little before that. And we talked about it off and on. We finally got it designed in 2010, I believe it was. But there's places, the situation where my wife almost had the head-on was, it's very narrow. You can't pass a school bus. They were lucky, they weren't a couple of minutes earlier than coming up the road, or they would have had the head-on. An EMC truck hit her many years ago coming out of a driveway when our youngest daughter was in the back seat. And I pull people out of the ditch and things of this nature. It's a very dangerous, narrow road. The only exception on meeting criteria for paving is it's not a thoroughfare. But I think in developing standards for paving roads, safety should be up front and foremost. And I think if we take a look at it, to go in and move that hill or cut it down, something like you spend quite a bit of money also. And I just feel like that it needs to be done. I've owned the property 34 years. The second thing that brought me, we're here tonight, we had a tree that fell across the road. There's a big limb, and we were getting ready to go up Sunday morning. The paper route guy got in because the paper was in the box. But then when we got up the road, about halfway up, the tree was across the road. And so I took kids, we had our grandkids with us and my wife, we took them back home. I got my tractor, put my jeans on, went down there and moved the tree and got it out. And Robin and them did a good job getting it out of the way this week because it was a big limb. And if y'all got questions or anything as we talk about it, I want you to feel free to do that. But the second thing, and I was talking to Nyhanky, Keith, he's a fireman. He came in and he helped me move the tree, the limb. And then I stopped and talked to Mr. Hall, Jody Hall, and then we were talking. He asked me what I was doing. I told him what had happened. And he told me, and I told him I wanted to get serious about it. I have patiently talk to people. We're not at odds. I want to preface my remarks with the things. We're not at odds with the neighbors. We just got a different view about paving roads and things of this nature. When we leave here today or whatever the outcome is, we're going to still be neighbors. We're going to still work together and things like that. But when you got a safety issue, I think we've all got an obligation to make sure our citizens are not going to get hurt. That's, I think, first and foremost. And we can take a look at it and see what needs to be done. And I don't like to come before the board because I like for you guys to do your job. But there's the time, as I said, we need to talk about the issue we got about safety and getting road paved. And we got. I know y'all do a good job paving roads. I know the priorities and things like that. But if I've got some pictures that I took just in case.
Mr. Bennett, you've got about 30 seconds.
Okay, I would ask you to waive the 3-minute time if you would. I was on this board for 20 years.
I understand that.
We never had an individual that went away unheard.
Well,
and
I'll be more than glad as soon as it's over, we'll hear any of the commissioners, but that's our policy now. So I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds. So.
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
can't finish in 10 seconds.
Okay. Well, then,
But I would like, if you can't, if I can't finish, then I personally would like to take you on a tour of the road. And we've got a safety situation, and I think we need to do something about it. I think the county has an obligation, once you know that you got a safety problem, situation, then we need to take action on it.
with all respect, we'll be glad to meet with you as soon as the meeting's over.
Well, all right, but I mean, I just wanted,
Okay.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you. I didn't realize I had the time. Yeah, so.
Okay, our next citizen wishing to be heard is Jody Hall. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Jody Hall, 7288 Hall Weld Road, Hayhira. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and the commissioners for hearing me. In regards to Mr. Bennett, Norman Bennett, he is a good neighbor. He's been a friend for everybody on the road. However, his concerns are true on a lot of roads in Lowndes County. We have so many more roads that are through roads, connector roads, that suffer the same problem. They're narrow, they have school bus traffic, they have garbage trucks, they have dump trucks, and they have automobiles. I don't care where you are, you're going to have the same problems. Right now, he was talking about cutting the hill down at the top, that would be fine. There's a driveway right there at the top. So that wouldn't work for the people that live there. One house on the road, Mr. Nehanky's house, sits within 8 feet of the right-of-way. If they were to go through there and do anything, it would probably take most of his front porch off. To pave a 6/10 of a mile, I think the rough estimate is $1 million a mile to pave a road. So we're talking about $500,000. That may not be enough to pave any other roads in Lowndes County that are having the same problem, but it would go a long way to helping the situation. We have Clydestone Road. All of y'all have been aware of that, very narrow. School buses, more than the 4 that we have going in and out down there. All roads in Lowndes County have the same traffic. The traffic count on Hall Webb Road cannot be anywhere near what it is on Clydestone or Union Road, the connector road between 122 and Webb Road, or from Webb Road to the Salem Church Road. Those roads are extremely slick and clay and could use some attention. Our road, the Hall Webb Road, has got some concerns. I've been on that, Mr. Bennett said he's been there 34 years. That was the first place I visited after I was out of the hospital being born. So I've been there 64 years. And I've never been in a ditch. Years ago, there was a problem, big clay hill. And Mr. Conwell liked to keep it stirred up because he had a team of mules and he'd buy hay for them in the wintertime by pulling people out of the ditch, So it's got problems. It's got concerns, but nothing that a little slowing down and looking when you get to the top of the hill, stay to the right, look over the hill. Same thing when you're coming in. Just be careful of your surroundings and cognizant of that. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Okay, our next citizen is Miss Judy Haverkamp. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
I know. Judy Haverkamp, 3922 Island Creek Road, Valdosta, Georgia, 31601. The reason I'm here today is some of you know that I spend a lot of time in various courts during the month to do with animal issues. And I've noticed in the last couple years, sometimes especially municipal and magistrate court, where you'll have 3 ACOs who are sitting there waiting for a case to be called. And when they get up front, the only thing they have is a rabies violation. For that only purpose, I would like to see y'all come up with a solution to give them some type of power to give out a ticket, or maybe that's not the right word, because I think it's a waste of time for an ACO to sit in a courtroom for an hour and a half, just for a rabies violation. I think I'd like to see y'all, like I said, come up with another solution. When they go out and there is a problem, fine them then. And most people don't want to go to court and have to pay the extra charge for that. So I'm hoping that you will think about something like that, and it'll save money and time. So, and I thank you for letting me speak.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, see any other business? That's all there is. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.